Slope of
So this is in point slope for y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So the slope is the number
the
out.
slope is so the slope is -1/3 or
Yes.
-1/3. Yes.
So since we want the perpendicular slope, we have to take the opposite reciprocal of that.
So +3/1.
Yes.
So 3. Got
All right. So kind of continuation from yesterday, we're talking parallel and perpendicular slopes.
here's number 9 is another one that I have.
Okay, let's take a look here. All right, so let's find the equation of the line that is perpendicular to line G that contains point P, comma Q. Oh, okay, I see. They're just using that generalized form. All right. First thing is you got to figure out the slope of this line. So I would use the 2 points here, rise over run. Can you tell me the slope of that line there? What the
So
rise
4
is
over
with the run?
4 gets 4/1.
Over 1 or just 4? Yeah. Now the perpendicular to that, so that's the slope. The slope perpendicular is the opposite reciprocal. You got to flip this and negate.
Oh, is that the thing by it?
Now that doesn't give you the answer, but that helps to sort of get to the answer. So a couple of ways we could do this. We could actually just look at each of these equations and see which one has a slope of -1/4. We might get lucky. We might not. So what do you want to do here? Because there's a lot of ways we could proceed. I mean, I think that's the best way is to just start solving these for y and determining the slope.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so let's take the first one here. When you solve it for y, you're subtracting 4x from both sides. Y equals -4x plus q plus 4p. Now the slope is just the number in front of x, like that. So obviously that one is not one of the answers.
Yeah, that would be -4/1.
Right. So we can do the same thing for the second one there. X minus 4y equals -4q plus p. But again, we have to solve for y. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. -4y equals -x minus 4q plus p, divide by -4, divide by -4, divide by -4, divide by -4. So your equation now is y equals 1/4 x. And this other stuff doesn't really matter, but I'll just show it anyway. Like this.
Yeah, because that gives
So what is the
you
slope of this one?
1/4, not -1.
So that one's out. All right, so why don't you try one of the other two? Because one will work or one will be wrong, and then it's the other one. Why don't you try one of
Yeah,
those
because
and
if
let
you
me know
try
which one?
one of them, then it's wrong. You know this other one. All right. Alright, so -1x plus y equals q minus 4p plus 4x plus 4x y equals 4x plus q minus 4p. Number 3 is 4/1, which is just
Okay,
4.
So it's not number 3, which means it must be
Yeah, number
the last
4.
one.
So that one we sort of kind of did process of elimination, kind of eliminate what was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's about it's sometimes it gets to that, and then I always like when you jump in and kind of work out the problem a little bit. So yeah, go ahead and drop another one in the chat there whenever you're ready, and
All right.
we'll take a look.
All right. I'm looking up now. All right, number 10 is number 10.
All right, so here we go. It says, which statement explains the relationship besides BA and B prime A after rectangle BADC has been rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin? All right, so all the answers talk about slope. So when you rotate this thing counterclockwise, that's that direction. Now, one of the things you could do is you could actually do the transformation so that you could see what the new points are. All right, so I sent you a link at one point to a rotation thing here. Here are the rules. Let me snip those in. All right, so you have let's label points A and B here. So A is 3,5 and B is 1,3. You agree with that?
Yeah.
90 degrees counterclockwise is this top right rule here. Okay, so what that means is X, Y, your original pairs, they go to, well, the X value becomes the Y. Okay, and the Y value gets negated and becomes the X. So take a look at that and see if you can agree with that.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, so if you agree with that, I'd like you to calculate the slope between those new points.
Two.
I mean, let me know if you need some help on this. This is the slope formula, or you can just graph them and try to.
I was just shooting the slope at y2
Okay.
minus y1 x2
Yeah.
minus x1. Yeah. I got 1/-4.
So the slope is 1 minus 3 over minus 3 minus a minus 5, which is -2 over +2. Double check that. That does become -1.
Oh yeah, -1's probably, yeah. I can see how that'd be
Okay, so
+2.
good news on that is that with that gets you down to these two answers. So the question is are these 2 points, are they parallel to this or are they perpendicular? That's the only difference between these two answers. And you can sort of just make a quick sketch of these 2 points to decide.
1 second.
Question?
Yeah, 1 second. I just, yeah, but negative 3. Wait, so for it to be perpendicular, it has to like intersect each other at 90 degrees? For it to be perpendicular, sorry. Yeah, for it to be perpendicular.
Yeah, I think you're overcomplicating. We know that AB goes this direction right here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's
when
perpendicular
you,
because
yeah, when you plot the other one, it goes that direction, so they're perpendicular.
got it. All right. All right. So next up is so if number 1 I already completed. Oh, so there's number 1 in the chat.
Okay. It's a new section or what's
Yeah,
going on
it's
here?
a new.
All right, so point A is located at 0, 4. Point C is located at -3, 5. Find the X value for the point that is located 1/4 the distance from point A to C. Okay. All right, so you have to find the distance between these two X values. What is the distance between those two X values?
3.
3. So now you have to take 1/4 of 3, which is 3/4, or 0.75. Now, because you're going in the negative direction, you have to keep that in mind here. So it actually ends up
Oh,
being negative.
yeah, because I multiplied 1/4 by -3.
Right, the same deal, same idea. But if you're just purely talking about distance, it is 3. In
Oh,
terms of how
got
to
it.
get the new
Yeah,
point, you go from here in that direction.
got it. So then if you go in the negative direction, then it always be negative.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So number 2 and number 2 is in the chat.
Okay. You like this part of the course? A little more graphing, a little more algebra, or is it,
Yeah, today I was kind of looking at the lessons ahead a little bit, more in like module 5-ish. Then around there are some stuff that I'm not quite sure about, but I think we'll go over it later on. But yeah,
right, so let's start with the coordinate of X. Can you give me the coordinate of X and the coordinate of Y?
the coordinate of x is -6, -1,
Okay, and for
and the
Y?
coordinate of y is 5, 1.
All right, now we're interested in the Y value this time. So how much space is between 1 and -1? What's the distance between them?
2 units.
I'm sorry?
2
There's
units.
two
Yeah,
units. Yeah, and you can just count. You can say it's 2, or you can say 1 minus -1, that's 2. Okay, now a ratio of 1 to 2 means that it's 1/3 and 2/3. Now, if you wonder how you get that, the way the ratio works is if you have n to m, it's n over n plus m over n plus m, like that. So what is 1/3 of the way from 2?
1/3 of the way to would be
What's a third of 2?
third.
2/3. 2/3. 1/3 of 2 is 2/3. And so
Yeah,
we're since we're going in the positive direction here, the I don't like this, but we're taking -1 and we're adding 2/3 to it, which is 1/3. I'm not -1/3. I'm not sure why they're not doing it that way. But that is about right. The X value would be um 3, so 2-ish. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean that is right. I don't really like it, but I mean you got the right answer. Do you just feel like you didn't do it
I was
right?
kinda
Didn't
no, 'cause I was still kinda, like, unsure about it, that's, on how to 'cause
Okay.
yeah, I was kinda unsure on the proper way of doing it, cause I kinda just looked at the graph and did it, but
You generally are finding the distance between the x's and the distance between the y's and then doing this ratio thing. So, and because it's the y value, I mean, that's the only one that's even possible because the y's only go from -1 to 1. So it's the only one that's even possible.
got it.
I don't really like the question, but that's what you got.
Alright, so, mm,
All right, let's take a look here. Line segment EG is partitioned by point F, the ratio 1 to 1. So ratio of 1 to 1 is exactly half the way in the middle. So you've got to find the midpoint between these two numbers, which, no, I'm sorry. The, the midpoint is, this is the midpoint. This is the endpoint. So you have to find the other endpoint. So do you remember us talking about the idea of these like jumps?
yeah,
So you want to figure out, well, how do you jump from 0 to 1? How do you jump from 0 to 1?
+1 to the right,
You're adding one. So you're going to add one again. So it should be 2.
2, yeah,
Okay. And then what's the jump to go from 4 to 3?
-1,
So you can do the same thing here and go
so
to
it's
2.
2, yeah,
So I want to change to that one there.
um, got it.
But you got another problem there dropped in the chat. All right. So kind of just reminder, if it's ever kind of going across the screen, always good to make it um, a little more um, condensed. But this one is just asking you to determine the perimeter. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that's kinda what I did, I kinda used like, I took it apart and counted one of the triangles, because obviously the side length of one of them is gonna be the same as the other.
This one
So
down here is 3.16.
yeah, so then I
Now,
looked at one of them and then I tried to find what b squared was because they gave us a squared.
they give you A, which is 3.16. They don't give you B, but they give you C. So you have 3.16 squared plus B squared equals 7.07 squared, like that. Is that what you solved?
Yeah, at first I thought you had to not put the squares for the
Yeah,
given
so this
length.
This is Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem is A, B, and C. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, when you
So
solve for B, we have to put it both on this left side and this right side. Let me take a look at that here. 7.07 squared minus 3.16 squared. So you should have gotten 6.32.
I think that's
So
what I'm.
your perimeter is 3.16 plus 6.32
Oh,
plus 3.16
I
plus
think I know.
6.32.
I think I know what the mistake was. Actually, pretty clear.
Well, it
Instead of
looks like you
yeah,
got the right answer.
yeah. No, I was actually I thought you had to. I accidentally started looking if any of the answers were the side because I forgot that for the perimeter you had to add. Obviously you have to add up all the
Yeah.
outside sides. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah, I think that.
So this does equal the 18.96.
Your six isn't jump.
Right. Down here. Oh, looks like one got marked wrong here. Oh no, you're just not. Never mind. Alex wants to
Yeah.
fence in an area. For dog park, he's plotted three sides of the fenced areas, points 1, 5, 3, 5, G, and 6, 1. He has 16 units of fencing. Where could Alex place point H so that he doesn't have to buy more fencing? So, yeah, like
Like
if you make a quick sketch, 1, 5 is there, 3, 5 is there, and then 6, 1 is there. This is 2. So we probably want to go this way. I
yeah,
mean, that's
because for
probably the answer,
yeah,
especially
yeah,
since
for
it's,
yeah, for this one I kind of graphed it and graphed all the EFG and then tried to figure out which applied each one of the answers to see which one would
yeah.
be the
So
least amount of distance from.
So that's called the brute force method when you try them all, and that does work. But you can, I mean, you can do it another way. You know that the you would basically need to find this length right here
Yeah, and
to
then
know.
you already know the distance between E and F is 2, so
Yeah. The
you can
so do
kind of
you know the distance formula, or was that given
yeah,
in your class? Okay,
yeah,
so you
yeah.
could
We did
you
that last module, I think. Yeah, not last mod, yeah, last semester, this class here.
okay. So it ends up being that this is 5. No, 4 squared, 3 squared. Yeah, the distance between that's 5 and 5. So So I don't think that's the right answer because I think the place, well, um, hmm, 1, 1. So he hasn't plotted 3 sides. He's plotted 3 posts. I guess go with this. I don't know. I'm reading this another way, but I'm also tired, so I could be just misinterpreting something here.
All right. All right, number 7. No, this is one of the ones that kind of confused.
Find the perimeter of the polygon, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So you have to find the distance for each of these. And it doesn't matter how you do it. I mean, you can draw triangles and use Pythagorean theorem. You can label the points, but you have to find the distance for each of these. So, um, like I think triangles are the easiest way to do it. So, like from B to C,
Wait, couldn't you use the distance formula as well?
You can, if you can, if you want to label all the points, you can. I'm gonna
Oh,
just
yeah,
count
yeah, that
squares,
makes sense.
because you go up 5 and then you go right 8. So that's the square root of 5 squared plus 8 squared. CD, you do the same thing. You draw a triangle, 3
That
and
would be
4,
4 and 3.
which ends up being 5. E to D here, you got 4 and 2, so 4 squared plus 2 squared. 80 is 2 and 5, so 2 squared plus 5 squared. And then B to A is, let's see here, it's down 5 and then right 6, so 5 squared plus 6 squared, square rooted. So you can find them individually, you can do them all together. I guess I'll find them individually, round to
Yeah, the first one comes up to 9.43398. I guess, yeah, you round that to 9.4.
and I'm just choosing to round to that 1 decimal place. You could choose to round to 2. Doesn't really matter. Because the answers are far enough apart that you're not going to get caught up in that. But then you got to add them all up.
Yeah, well, all right, 9.4 plus 5 plus 4.5 plus,
Ooh, I'm off here, so I must have made a mistake. You definitely double check me here. 5 and 8. Okay. 4 and 3. 4 and 2. 2 and 5. 5 and 6. Okay. Maybe I just added wrong.
5 squared plus 8 squared, square root of 8. Yeah, number the BD. That's correct. 4 squared plus 4.
Okay, so here's my mistake. It's right there. That's 5.4. And then it does work out.
Right. Yeah, 32.1. So it's number 1 up there.
All right, we might have time for one more question here. So you want to get that over as quickly as you can. We can knock that out. Oh, another one. Okay. Oh, find the area this time. So I would cut this into this top shape and then this bottom shape. You try to cut it where you can. So the area of the top one here looks like it's a square 4 and 4. No big deal there. The other one is a triangle. So you need the base and the height. So the height here appears to be 5. The base appears to be 10. So the area of the first one is 4 times 4. It's base times height. Second one is 1/2 base times height, which is 1/2 10 times 5, which is 25. So we got 16 plus 25, 41 square units.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're supposed to kind of split it into 2 different figure, or how many other figures
2 or
is
however
it?
many you need, and you do as many as you can to get it the way you want.
Got it. And then you kind of like find the area formula for that specific type of figure. For example, if it's like
Yes,
a triangle, then
exactly.
half b times h. Got it. I think in the notes for this lesson they had like a chart of like all like the formulas for area for all like the different
Now,
figures.
we've got a really good reference here. I'll drop in the chat. I think I got it. Maybe I closed it. The fun, there it is. Okay, I got a really good reference here. I'll drop in the chat. That'll be the last thing for today. All right, so we are scheduled for tomorrow at